Hello, everybody. This is Dr. David Jockers, and today we're doing a short training on 4 steps to heal diverticulitis naturally. And diverticulitis is an extremely painful digestive disorder that many people are dealing with, particularly people as they age, they become more and more prone to diverticulitis. And we're going to go through really 4 key steps we need to do in order to heal this condition naturally. And so if you don't know me, I'm Dr. David Jockers. I am a doctor of natural medicine. I work with people all around the world and I speak all around the world at churches, organizations, on a lot of different online summits and online programs. And this is my beautiful wife, Angel, and my baby boys, David and Joshua, twin boys. And we're just passionate about life and passionate about helping people get well and stay well naturally. And so when we look at diverticulitis, what we know is that we all have diverticuli. These are little pouches in our intestines. And these naturally occur, but we get more of these. They occur more frequently if we're not taking good care of our digestive system. And not only that, not only do we get an increase in these diverticuli, but we also develop infections with the diverticuli because these are little houses for bacteria. And if we have dysbiosis or a poor balance of microbes in our intestines, then we're going to have issues here. We're going to certainly develop inflammation and infection in these regions, and it can be extraordinarily painful. And so we're going to go through the strategies we need to take in order to heal this naturally. And really, how does somebody know that they have diverticulitis? Well, typically, a medical doctor will do detailed exam to actually see this. Particularly, they're going to do something like an endoscopy where they actually go up your rear end with a little camera and they take pictures of the intestines. And that's how they will actually diagnose diverticulitis. But we know the major symptoms are going to be things like cramping, bloating, tenderness, particularly in the left side of the abdomen. You know, the lower right side is typically associated with appendicitis, whereas the lower left side is typically associated with diverticulitis. And that pain can be relieved by passing gas or a bowel movement. Individuals with diverticulitis with the active infection oftentimes will have diarrhea, they'll have mucus in their stool, nausea, they won't want to eat, and they'll have a continual need to eliminate. So they'll want to constantly be going to the bathroom, kind of that diarrhea symptom. And that's very common when somebody is in an acute infection, diarrhea, nausea, mucus in their stool, and a continual need to eliminate. Sometimes they can run a fever too if there's major infection there. So what are the major causes? Well, obviously a bad diet, particularly low in fiber, high in processed foods, high in grains. Gluten sensitivity is a really common issue with this. Individuals that are dehydrated, which is a chronic epidemic. Low in magnesium, because magnesium is so key for bowel activity, for bowel muscle contraction. That's a really common issue. Oftentimes, individuals that are under a lot of stress, because when we're under a lot of stress, we use more water, we use more magnesium. So stress will actually cause dehydration, magnesium deficiencies. Some people are a little bit more genetically prone to it. And, we all have genes, but genes only play 30% of the role in our disease outcomes and our quality of life. So 30%. The other 70% is really how we program those genes with the environment, the diet, the lifestyle, the stress, the nutrition, things like that. All those factors play a role in how the genes express themselves. Gallbladder disease. So people with issues with their gallbladder are higher likelihood of developing diverticulitis. Obviously, gallbladder is a major digestive disorder, typically associated with liver problems too, and a number of things, thyroid problems. So those all go hand in hand. People are obese. Obesity is going to be very much related. In fact, we know that fat cells themselves will secrete, basically they're going to release inflammatory compounds. So we're going to have more inflammation the more weight we have on ourselves. Coronary artery disease. People with CAD or coronary artery disease are much more likely to have diverticulitis. Why again? Coronary artery disease, very much associated with magnesium deficiency, as is diverticulitis. So 4 steps to heal. Number 1, remove gut irritating foods. We're going to use a food elimination diet for that. Number 2, gut soothing nutrition plan. The right nutrition plan to help soothe the gut, to help heal the diverticuli. We need the right gut healing supplements to help support and strengthen the gut wall And we need lifestyle strategies that we can apply to really get to the root cause of the problem, correct and stabilize it so we don't have problems with our diverticuli and in general with our digestive system again. So let's take it step by step. Number one, get rid of the gut irritating foods. So an elimination diet, most gut irritating foods, here they are: gluten, really grains in general, particularly gluten, although there's gluten molecules in all grains. So I'm a big fan of a grain-free diet. But particularly, in the immediate, somebody can immediately get off gluten, and that will play a big role in reducing the frequency and the severity of diverticulitis. Dairy is another big one. So when I have somebody with diverticulitis, I take them off all dairy except for ghee. Why ghee? Because ghee is clarified butter. Butter has trace amounts of lactose, casein, and whey. Ghee is completely free of lactose, casein, and whey. Those are the most inflammatory provoking agents in dairy. So the actual dairy fat is really good for the body. It's short chain. Most of it is short chain fatty acids like butyrate, which are extremely anti-inflammatory for the gut. So I like using ghee. Also fat soluble vitamins, vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin D, choline in there, really good for the brain. So a lot of good stuff in there. So ghee is good. Refined sugar, take them off the sugar. Eggs, unfortunately, a lot of people have issues with eggs. So in the beginning, I will take people off eggs, corn, soy, vegetable oils, all these ones, canola, cottonseed, safflower, peanuts, soybean, corn oil, all real bad. And come off of those. As I said, they're all grains. Shellfish, a lot of people have issues with shellfish. They don't know it. They have issues. Tree nuts, so that's going to be obviously things like almonds, pecans, walnuts, stuff like that. We're going to take people off tree nuts. And also with diverticulitis, we're going to take them off seeds. So we take them off things like pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, flax seeds, unless it's really well broken down, like for example, ground really well. Why do we want to take them off seeds? Seeds have more of a tendency to slip into those loose diverticuli where they can cause infection and cause more pain. So we want to take people off those. Legumes have a high level of lectins, anti-nutrients. So we take people off the legumes. And then nightshade vegetables. There are a lot of people that have challenges with nightshades. So we come off of those for a period of time. Some of these foods we're going to add back in. In general, we definitely want to stay off of gluten, as well as these vegetable oils. The other ones you may be able to rotate back in as your body gets healthier, and you may respond well to those. So gut soothing nutrition plan. These are key things we want to use a lot of. Bone broth. Why bone broth? Because it's rich in proline, it's rich in glycine, it's rich in L-glutamine, and it's rich in glycosaminoglycans, all very key for a strong, healthy intestinal membrane, as well as good skin, hair, nails, joints, number of things bone broth's good for, but it's one of the best things for healing the gut. So we love bone broth protein powder, bone broth in general, collagen protein, all that really good. Coconut oil. Coconut oil is rich in medium chain fatty acids, particularly lauric acid, which turns into monolaurin, which is a fantastic anti-yeast agent. So it'll help to reduce yeast levels. Also just really, really good for reducing inflammation in the body. So we love using coconut oil. Apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is rich in acetic acid, which is very good for stimulating the right amount of digestive juices. People with diverticulitis are not producing the right amount of digestive juices. And we talked about how there's a big association with gallbladder disease and diverticulitis. Well, basically, we need good secretion of stomach acid to protect the gallbladder, or else we're going to be at risk for developing a gallbladder problem, a sluggish bile problem. Apple cider vinegar is great for stimulating stomach acid, helps stimulate bile release, bile production and release, pancreatic enzymes. So it really helps get the digestive process going, stimulates all those digestive juices, as does ginger. Both things are amazing. Ginger is really, really good for interacting with the smooth muscle in our intestines. And it has a ton of different active compounds in there that not only reduce inflammation in the gut, but also help with antispasmodic activity, so so we don't get cramping. They also help with really good rhythmic contractions, peristaltic contractions of the bowels. So ginger, turmeric, which is one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory agents, and then using fermented foods and drinks like coconut water, kefir, pickles, kimchi, sauerkraut. These things are all great. Really good for the gut, get good bacteria in there, as well as micronutrients that are easy to absorb that we get in fermented foods, and enzymes and organic acids, all really, really good stuff. So we want to really load up on these sorts of gut soothing nutrients and gut soothing foods. Now, what are the best supplements? Well, we talked about stomach acid, how key that is. And typically people with diverticulitis, they're not producing stomach acid. They're producing a very, very small amount. And if that's the case, then we're definitely going to need support with our stomach acid. Now, again, stomach acid, if the acid in the stomach gets low enough, as far as like gets acidic enough, it's going to help break down, it's going to really play a huge role at breaking down the protein that we're taking in. And then on top of that, it's going to help stimulate the release of bile from the gallbladder and liver, and pancreatic enzymes from the pancreas, as well as bicarbonate from the pancreas. So really, really key for the whole digestive process. So I see a lot of people, particularly with diverticulitis, they're just not producing stomach acid. So we get them on the betaine HCl. It makes a gigantic difference. Probiotics, super key. We got to make sure we get the right microorganisms in there to keep the ecology, the gut ecology, healthy and strong, keep inflammation under control. Extra digestive enzymes, our pancreas and our saliva produces enzymes, and our pancreas produces enzymes. But a lot of times people are basically they're enzyme deficient. Their body's just weak at producing enzymes. So taking some extra enzymes are really, really key. Aloe vera gel is one of the best things for soothing the gut and basically helping to stimulate the production of the mucous membrane around the gut. And somebody has diverticulitis, they've worn down that protective coating, that natural mucous membrane in their gut. So aloe vera, really good, as well as slippery elm. You can do slippery elm tea, and marshmallow root extracts, really good for that too. Deglycerinated licorice extract. Why is that good? Really good for helping stimulate stomach acid production. We talked about that with apple cider vinegar. I use a number of things. For example, this gut repair supplement down here, this actually has a combination of DGL, aloe vera, as well as something called arbenogalactans, which is really good for the immune system, and then L-glutamine. So L-glutamine is right in there, and L-glutamine is the major amino acid that helps form the gut membrane, basically the intestinal lining. So if we have a weakened intestinal wall, we're L-glutamine deficient. Basically, we're not getting the L-glutamine into those cells, so they can't heal effectively. So gut repair really is a great combo of three key things that you need. So if somebody had diverticulitis, along with the diet that we talked about, the elimination diet and the key foods that we discussed, I'd put them on a good protein powder, like my bone broth protein. I'd put them on high dose probiotics, like the ProBioCharge 100 billion, stomach acid support, digestive enzyme support, and I'd have them putting in 2 to 3 scoops of gut repair in protein shakes. And they'd be doing 2 protein shakes a day. So be getting a lot of L-glutamine, a lot of DGL, a lot of aloe vera. I'd also have them drinking aloe vera juice in between meals to get more of that, doing slippery elm tea, marshmallow root tea, things like that, to really provide, again, the key nutrients to heal that weak and damaged gut lining. So really key stuff. Again, gut repair, this is really the go-to. If you have diverticulitis, major leaky gut repair, stomach ulcers as well, really, really good for this. So we use the gut repair, real key for strengthening the gut mucosa, healing leaky gut, de-inflaming an intestinal membrane. That's basically what we're talking about there with diverticulitis. And, those nutrients help favor the development of the right type of microbes in our system. And that's really the underlying root. We got to make sure we've got a normal, healthy microflora. So gut repair is great for that. Lifestyle strategies. We got to reduce stress. Obviously, we talked about stress is a major component to that. When we're under a lot of stress, then we're going to deplete magnesium. We're going to deplete water, fluids. So that's going to definitely contribute. It's also going to increase inflammation. So it's definitely can contribute to the development of diverticulitis. We need healthy diet. So lots of fruits and vegetables, particularly vegetables, I should say, not a ton of fruit. Lots of good vegetables, really key. Avocados, great source of fiber, easy on the digestive system. As you can see here, carrots, celery, stuff like that. Really, really good stuff for the body. Healthy meats, but definitely need a lot of good vegetables in our diet. Optimal hydration. We want to make sure we're drinking at least, I'd recommend somebody had diverticulitis, I'd recommend a gallon of water a day at least. Basically twice your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 100 pounds, okay, then you'd want 200 ounces of water. If you weigh 200 pounds, you're going to want 400 ounces. Okay, so I'm sorry, not twice your body weight. I'm off on that. Your full body weight. So a lot of people say, well, you need to drink at least half your body weight in ounces. So I'm 160 pounds. That would mean I would need to drink 80 ounces. But I would say, you know what? Instead of that, I should be drinking 160 ounces. So I'm 160 pounds. So I should be drinking 160 ounces of water a day. A gallon is 128 ounces. So I say a minimum of a gallon, but really more like an ounce per pound of body weight of water per day outside of meals. Okay. And that can also be herbal teas. So we talked about those herbal teas, that aloe vera juice, that would count, right? So you count those ounces, all that stuff counts. So just got to get a lot of hydration in the body, really flush the system, cleanse, detoxify the body. So those are lifestyle strategies. Last but not least, let's talk about bowel activity. You know, I'm a doctor, so I can talk about bowels, bowel movements. And so, you know, in our society, we've been taught to kind of sit at 90 degrees at the toilet bowl. But actually what that does is that sets the puborectalis muscle in a position where it's a little bit, it's just doesn't have leverage. And so it makes it a lot harder. You get a lot more straining that occurs trying to get the feces, get the poop out. As opposed to if you put a little, what they call squatty potty, or like a little stool there, and now your legs are up more at a 35-degree angle, that opens up that puborectalis muscle and allows for very easy elimination. There's a lot less straining, and it just easily falls out with gravity. So this is what I would recommend, especially if you're somebody out there that's got hemorrhoids or just has to strain a lot at the toilet bowl. I would highly recommend doing something like this. It's very simple and easy. Just get a little stool and put your feet up on it, and it works great. You know, our ancestors, they squatted down all the way down. They'd have a hole in the ground, and that's how they would poop. And so that's just natural. And it wasn't until, you know, more recently, last few hundred years, where we've actually created this kind of 90-degree angle. In a lot of other countries, like Asian countries, they have more of this sort of the toilet bowls are much closer to the ground. So we get this kind of squat going. So anyways, that's how they cop the squat. Very important for diverticulitis. And, you know, if you're out there and you're dealing with diverticulitis, obviously, follow the recommendations we talked about. But if you're dealing with any sort of chronic issue, whether it's diverticulitis, another digestive disorder, autoimmune disease, hey, you know, we're here for you. And so myself and my functional nutritionist, Haley Gibson, you know, we're on a mission to educate and empower as many people as possible to reach their full potential in life and health. And that's really why we do video trainings like this. And if you're interested in working with an expert who's seen a lot of cases, you know, definitely reach out to Haley, nutrition@drjockers.com, or to myself. There is my site there, drjockers.com/long distance coaching / reach out to us, and we'd be happy to help you navigate through various health issues you may be dealing with, help basically explain the right supplements, nutrition program, order the right lab work so we can get to the root cause of your problems and get it corrected and stabilized. You don't have to suffer unnecessarily anymore. We're here to help. So with that being said, love you guys, bless you guys, and we will see you on a future YouTube training. Bye.